Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Write this down.
Write that down.
So write that down Wednesday. The only show in America that has the stones enough, the grapefruits enough, the Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell chutzpah enough to put statistics next to our predictions.
I don't think I've heard that. Chutzpah?
Is it chutzpah?
Chutzpah?
Chutzpah.
I think it's chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
It's an old school.
Chutzpah.
Very old
It's
school
CH.
word, but it's a great word.
Chutzpah.
I mean, it might be chutzpah. I've always heard it as chutzpah.
Yeah,
but
it's
that
CHUTZPA.
Yeah, the question is the C?
It is pronounced chutzpah,
chutzpah, so the C is silent.
Is it a soft C?
and it's extreme self-confidence or audacity. Love him or hate him, you have to admire Cohen's chutzpah.
Yeah, old school word, great word.
I don't know why dictionary.com uses Cohen as the name of the supremely confident person.
It's just, they just picked a name.
I would have used Judd myself, but I'm not running dictionary.com. Hey, before we get to the accountability session, and we also have a quarterback cesspool challenge today, Judd, take the audience to Quick Trip here, if you will.
Well, right, because if you need gas, if you need breakfast, lunch, dinner, if you need a snack, guess what? You can find it all at Quick Trip. That's right. It's a convenience store, but it's a grocery store. Which is it? It doesn't matter because it's so good. They cover all of the bases. If you're watching this right now, you are looking around Quick Trip with me and saying, oh man, Karuba coffee, look at those salads. Fantastic. We're going to turn a corner here in 1 second and we got pizzas. Look at all of this. It's unbelievable. And now you're saying,
I love the Cheese Mountain brand, man. That's one of my favorites.
Good stuff. But right now you're saying, but Sports Dad, what if I'm busy? What if I don't feel like going in? I'm going to tell you right now, Quick Trip, they've got you covered there too. Put the app on your phone like our friend Declan does. And guess what? They will bring the food out to you. Perhaps you're pumping gas because you don't want that tank going down to E like some of my friends do. They'll bring out the food. It's fantastic. It's Quick Trip. It is the only place you need to stop.
What are you guys doing this weekend? I'm going to climb Cheese Mountain at Quick Trip.
Tell me right now that one of those wouldn't look good in the old oven.
Also, a shout out to Federated Insurance. Had a great little Federated catch-up breakfast yesterday. Not ketchup like the condiment, but like catching
you didn't
up
have
on
some
life.
hash browns?
And, no, I did have scrambled eggs, but I did not. I put hot sauce on them. I did not put ketchup on them. Yeah. So Federated's here helping businesses maximize their success through risk management. They stay focused on safety and preventing claims so you can focus on growing your business. Find out which industries Federated specializes in. If you're a business owner, federatedinsurance.com, or it's our business to protect yours.
Just quickly, Phil's a good friend, and I've known Phil for years. I don't know anyone with stomach issues who like taunts his stomach more than Phil. Top of the morning, hot sauce. Yeah, let's do it.
But there's certain types of hot sauce that somehow don't trigger, like jalapenos, very triggering for me.
Okay.
Certain types of dairy, very triggering.
Oh yeah.
Cholula, Frank's Red.
Oh, so it's okay. All right.
Very tolerable.
I'm a Tabasco guy, personally.
Tabasco,
Big Tabasco. Yeah. Love.
Burns your lips a little bit, but
Bloody Mary. Tabasco and a Bloody Mary.
Oh, God, I could have one right now.
Yeah. So, anywho, good small talk session there. Here's how Write That Down works. It's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody on the show each week. They must be quantifiable. We also do the OG edition of Write That Down on the Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd podcast, where anything, football or not, is open for prediction. You can find that on the Score North YouTube channel. And we keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to be like Brendan and participate as a guest listener predictor, you can send Dex a message through the Score North app, and we'll try to get you scheduled for the coming weeks here. So let's go through it. We'll start with not a super active week here because the Vikings had a bye week, so we didn't really have like Vikings game predictions come off the board. Judd, you said Kevin O'Connell, the contract extension for him would happen before the Vikings return from their bye week. Well, here they are.
Yep. I took a shot.
No love. They need to see more. Need to see a decisive victory over the Lions before they engage in contract.
Decided to take a shot, downfield shot there.
I had nothing come off the board, so we'll highlight something still on the board. I said Robert Saleh will be the Vikings' next defensive coordinator. Man, that clip from Brian Flores yesterday, where he's being asked about, the Lions' offense and the challenge it's going to pose, and are you going to have to adjust everything you do? And he just kind of confidently and wryly takes a sip of his coffee or water, and he goes, "I fight fire with fire." How can someone not hire that dude as a head coach at some point? So if that happens, I still stand by this. Listeners, Jordan said the Falcons will lose 3 of their 4 games in October. The Kirk slander will not be tolerated.
In Kirktober? No.
Yeah, that was bold prediction there.
That was Kirktober. This is Kirktober we're in.
Falcons are 2-0 in Kirktober.
Damn right they are.
Nice week for Declan here. You said the Vikings would agree to trade a future draft pick by this year's NFL trade deadline. Now, there are like conditions on the draft picks, but so the Vikings traded a conditional 6th for Cam Akers and a conditional 7th.
Yeah.
I don't see how they wind up getting Cam Akers for nothing. So we don't have the details of the conditions, but safe to say, like, they're giving up draft capital in some form.
The spirit of the pick, because I made this last week, was they'll agree to a trade. Like they'll make a trade at the deadline. That was kind of the spirit of what I was looking at. So.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you said you had the primetime parlays are back here for Dex. A 3-item parlay. Niners win, the Bengals win, and the Bills win. There you go.
That's a nice
touchdown.
one. That's a real nice one.
A couple of those games were right down to the wire there.
Bills were touch and go for sure.
So with that, Declan leads the completion percentage battle on the season, 43.2%. Judd at 39%. I'm at 33%, just ahead of the listeners at 32%. Listeners with 10 touchdowns. Judd with 9. Declan with 8. Check down Macadac with 2 touchdowns on the season here.
Dex, what was Dex's lead after that ridiculous draft?
I think it was like 11 points. So I mean, it's come down.
Okay, because
Declan was at like 53 or 54% after the draft.
It was
something absurd.
And he's leveling off a little, but still with a fairly commanding lead. And then career stats, Declan 37.3% completions, Judd 35.5. I'm at 33. Listeners at 23.5. Listeners and Declan tied with 49 career touchdowns. I had a stranglehold on that lead. I'm now trailing both you guys with 48. Judd with 42 touchdowns for his career. So there's the statistics. Let's get Brendan in here, making his debut on Write That Down. Brendan, are you at work right now? What's your setting?
I am. Yes, I'm at work. Just blocked out a little bit of time here to be able to join you guys. Very excited to do so.
Love it. So yeah, what's your background as a Vikings fan? Give us the scoop.
Sure, absolutely. So I am born and raised in Western Pennsylvania, in the heart of Steeler Nation.
Wow.
And that, growing up, just kind of went along with the flow, drinking the black and yellow Kool-Aid there. But that was until Super Bowl 30, when Neil Darnold just absolutely crapped the bed against the despised Dallas Cowboys. I was just absolutely shook and said, never again will I give my emotional wellness to a team that hasn't earned my trust.
Wow.
Wow. So how are you here?
And then like 2 years later, the 1998 Vikings happen. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was kind of a casual fan of the NFL in general for the next several years, but that was until December of 2000 when I picked up a copy of the latest Sports Illustrated with Dante Culpepper stating, "I want to be the best ever." And poring over that article, I said to myself, now here is a quarterback and a team that I can entrust with my emotional well-being.
Yeah.
Little did I know.
In fairness to Dante, he was the second best quarterback in 2004. So he got kind of close there, at least in one season.
So let me get this straight. You drew a hard line on the Steelers because they had abused your trust, and you eventually said, you know what, I'm going to love again, and it's the Vikings. Like, you are in dysfunctional football relationships that go beyond the norm, my man.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But I'm here. I'm committed.
I love it.
AP reignited some of that passion, and I thought, well, now here's a guy. here's a guy I can trust. So, but I'm sticking with it.
What team's next?
What's that?
I said, what team is next?
Oh, there are no other teams.
Okay,
The emotional resilience that has been built up over the years it allows me to conquer anything at this point.
The emotional calluses.
It's like the Bills are next. Here's a team I can trust. Oh, they lost another Super Bowl. Oh, okay, yeah.
I feel like, dude, the universe needs a Bills-Vikings Super Bowl showdown here. Just to settle it once and for all. Who is the most tormented good team in NFL history?
Wow.
And I maintain that when that Super Bowl happens, they'll be tied up at halftime, and then a meteor will strike the earth and completely obliterate all of humanity.
Yeah, you're probably not
very
far
fitting.
Off. Didn't that happen in a Steelers game in Batman once, like 15 years ago?
Yeah, Bane blew up the football field. Yep. Yeah, and
Hines Ward
returned. Mm-hmm. That was more unrealistic than the football field being exploded from the ground up.
Didn't Hines Ward? He was a kid. What did he return some kicks? Didn't he?
I think he was their punt. He might have been a punt guy, but wasn't Antoine Randall L was their guy too? Yep. Yeah. So
let's see here. Hines Ward. Let's see here. I'm just pulling up Football Reference. So okay. He did return 8 kicks in 1999 and 2000, and he returned a punt once in 1999. So yeah, maybe this is where like Judd's always wanted to be the sports movie. Come on in and let me help you with like your sports movie realism here.
Yeah, consultant.
You know. So anyhow, okay, Brendan, you're going to lead us off here. You get the first prediction, then over to Judd, Declan, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room. You are under center.
Write this down.
Fire away.
All right, so a little bit of a premise here. With these 3 predictions, I'm doing one that has to do with the past, one that has to do with the present, and one that has to do with the future. And they're also going to be, there's going to be a positive, a negative, and a neutral for these as well. So we are in a division that all 4 teams have gone through rebuilds. They've done it different ways. But over the past several years, each of those rosters has been churned. And Kwesi, since taking over, only 6 of the 25 starters remain from that team. And to date, he is the only GM in the North who has not had a player that he let go make a Pro Bowl afterward. So write this down. Not a single player that Kwesi has let walk since taking over will make the Pro Bowl in 2024, but 2 of his free agent acquisitions will.
Could we say at least 2 just in case so we don't, you're not.
Yes, we can do that.
Semantics.
I do leave it up to you guys with all the alternatives and everything like that, whether you want to count those, because if so, it does widen the window for both. So
I think we will count alternates for sure. I'm trying to think of. I mean, the Vikings have a bunch of candidates. Van Ginkel, Grenard is like 3rd in pressures.
I think you're safe
Aaron
on
Jones.
that part of it for sure.
Kirk's probably the one that could.
Daniil and Kirk for sure because Daniil's having a pretty good season.
Yeah, initially, whenever I got this together and Hunter was coming on strong, I was like, all right, that's going to be the problem. And Kirk had a terrible first game, so I was like, okay, I might be safe there. But the NFC is actually fairly stacked with quarterbacks. So that's my first. Write that down.
Yeah. Here's what I don't get. So they don't play the game now, but as far as I know, they still name alternates. So like if you can't show
weird,
up
yeah.
at the
my hamstring is sore. I'm not going to be able to play in the game that isn't being played.
The barbecue is off. I can't come. Sorry, guys.
So if you can't show up for like the long drive contest, because they do the Pro Bowl games, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not healthy enough to show up for like the dart game that the kickers play or something,
right?
Got to find an alternate. Okay.
Write this down.
Judd, your first prediction.
So for a future show, probably this week, I spent hours last night poring over potential trade candidates, deadline, because we've started now, boys. Make no mistake. Yesterday was just the appetizer to what looks like, the NFL.
Crazy yesterday.
Congratulations. You have perfected the NFL trade deadline used to be as big a joke as baseball free agency as far as action. It's like, okay, why bother? Now they moved it way back. It's way more exciting. 2 significant trades yesterday. I think the Vikings are going to do more than just a Cam Akers deal, so write this down. The Vikings will obtain either, or I should say and or, they will obtain a defensive tackle and or a cornerback before the deadline with more than 25 games of NFL experience, playing time. So it will be a established veteran player.
Maybe we do this because we usually do the Judd's practice notes episode kind of Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. Maybe we can do a big chunk on that. But in your gut, wait, are these all handwritten notes here?
All handwritten notes. Every player got a page. Every player that I decided to target has a page.
What's on those pages? Like personal bios? How
notes
deep are we going?
Types.
Rounds drafted, ages, positions, salary cap hits. I don't care what they're
multi-year. Do you have the salary cap table over multiple years on there?
Okay. Yep. I've got everything right here.
Family information, lineage,
TSA. Are they pre-check members?
Is it clear TSA pre, or are they?
I'm a clear guy
general boarding.
They're millionaires. Every one of them's TSA. They're all clear.
Yeah, some might shock people sometimes.
23 and me stuff. Like some of these guys, I was checking. If they had previous family history issues.
Doggy DNA. Yeah,
there was a lot of work done.
So we'll go into the handwritten page by page notes tomorrow. Okay, Dex, your first prediction.
All right, I'll get this one out first because I think Judd has a variation of this prediction. It might not be the same, but I want it out in front before he gets another chance. Write this down. At least 2 more NFL coaches will be fired by December 1st.
I do have a different one than that. But
over the next 6.5 weeks or so, we'll see at least 2 more coaches fired. Yeah. I think Peterson's pretty dang on borrowed time here. Next one, I think it's not a wild card, but it's a little more up in the air.
McCarthy's got to be.
But Jerry Jones, I mean, that thing that he
he's
did.
losing his mind, though. He's on Dallas radio.
Oh, my God.
He threatened the hosts.
Yeah,
that was weird, man. First of all, bro, you're an 82-year-old billionaire. What other than ego and just unable to just lay back and not be the center of attention? Why are you doing a weekly radio hit anyways? Just chill. It's just a weird setup.
Jeez, Doug Peterson is minus money right now at -1
to be the next coach.
Jeez,
poor guy.
Yeah.
Write this down.
And so many different. All right, I don't think I made this prediction official. I floated this a couple weeks ago on the Hawkinson timeline. I'm going to make it official because my thought has been, why run him out there early against the kneecap biting team when you've got a Thursday night game coming up? I don't think you want him playing first 2 games in a year within 5 days of each other. Much like in a race car, like a NASCAR race, you could do fresh tires when everyone else has balding tires at the end. You could unleash TJ Hawkinson against the Rams on Thursday night fresh while everybody else is 75%. I think that's what they're going to do. So write this down. TJ Hawkinson makes his Vikings debut against the Rams on Thursday night. Just makes a lot of sense. Just let him come in as a spark of energy. It's like when soccer teams in the 87th minute bring on fresh legs or something.
Yep.
That's the effect it could have.
And what helps there too is it'll be one fresh player for a team that will probably be beat up. I think Sunday's game is going to it's going to be a war. It's going to be an absolute let's
go.
It's not that we'll have guys who absolutely can't play, but I don't think anyone will feel good.
Yeah, it's going to
Write this down.
And they're tucking it away at noon. Just ridiculous. And you know what?
Sleep on us.
It's Sam Darnold. The reason why the Vikings, they've got this game, and then there's the Falcons game coming up in a month and a half. And even the Packers game late in the season, these noon games that on paper right now look like premier top of the conference matchups. I think the schedule makers looked at Sam Darnold, and maybe rightfully so, and said, we can't put a Sam Darnold team in prime time. It's going to be a disaster. But they're going to be flexing old Darnold Schwarzenegger into Sunday and Monday night. Okay, back to Brendan. Second prediction.
Write this down.
All right, gents, with my second prediction, this has to do with the present, and this is also a bit of a negative take. One of the moves that got the most criticism that Kwesi's made is trading down with Detroit. And yes, picking up a number of players there, which for some time there kind of looked like a lose-lose with some of the issues that were going on with Jameson. But that may no longer be the case. So write this down. Jameson Williams will score the most fantasy points for Detroit on Sunday against Minnesota.
Okay. So just of the players playing in that game, you're saying most fantasy points?
For Detroit.
For Detroit. Okay. Got it.
Do we want to use just like ESPN?
Yeah,
something?
but what are we doing? PPR? PPR?
PPR is fine.
Okay. PPR.
Write this down.
Over to Judd.
All right, I predicted this when we picked the schedule again on Tuesday's show, but I might as well commit it now. I'll say it again on Friday. The Vikings will win on Sunday. They will beat the Lions on Sunday.
Boy, so you're going to wind up tripling down on this unless you change your mind in the next 3 days.
I'm going to triple down on this prediction. Yeah,
this was like me at the blackjack table when I kept losing money. I was like, no, I'll get 40 back in. I'll come back up.
No, I think there's factors here. The Lions are coming off a huge win against what I think I know I've seen them play, is a bad team. There's a lot of confidence there. This building is going to be crazy. I don't know. Have you guys seen the secondary market ticket prices at this point?
Let's pull it up again this morning. It's
nuts.
Ridiculous.
I mean, it's deserved because it should be.
And
a
there's
great
probably
game.
Detroit fans trying to get down here too, right?
But I think this building is going to be deafening. Yeah.
A fast start is required for another big fast start is required for the Vikings here.
Sure.
Well, we haven't seen them down 10-0.
Yeah.
And that's the Lions are very capable of just coming out boom boom.
If they do fall down, do you guys and I might be totally wrong, I sense far more resilience. I think this team is just tougher. I don't know that they're going to go away. If they get kicked in the teeth, I don't know that they're going to go away as fast as some teams have in previous years.
Yeah, but it is worth noting that Sam Darnold doesn't have a fourth quarter comeback since 2019. It's been 5 years since he has.
Yeah.
Now, has he had a ton of chances?
I was going to say, he also
Carolina
hasn't played that. And yeah, he's played for some bad teams. And plus, it doesn't have to be just Sam. I mean, you got pick sixes. You got Jared Goff blindside. He fumbles. He's down on the turf, grabbing his shoulder as the Vikings score a touchdown off that. A lot of ways to score. A lot of ways to score touchdowns. But
the get-in price on the secondary market right now, just to get in the door and sit nosebleed US Bank Stadium, and I think this is before fees, $240.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. And I personally, if I wasn't going to attend the game in the press box, would stay on my couch and watch on TV and stuff. But it's also cool that there's such demand.
It's going to be a vibe. By the way, links, I'm just looking now too. Links tonight. Get in the door for $50. So I'm looking for. I might sneak in for Links game 3. Let's do it.
That's not bad at all.
Let's go.
Write
Okay, I think we're back to Declan here.
Yeah.
Second prediction.
So on statements, I told you guys about Dallas Turner needing to show up here and make the most of my opportunity. So write this down. Dallas Turner will record at least half a sack or be credited with a turnover of some kind against the Lions. So he's going to come up with the big play. So either he'll be in there with the sack, and I want a half sack there too in case there's two guys that bring him down. That or he scoops up a ball, maybe picks off, maybe he takes some notes from Van Ginkel, makes a big pick happen. But he'll be involved in a big play, so write it down.
Okay. Man, so many predictions.
Write this down.
To spill some of these over into Mackie and Judd. Let's go with this one. So I brought up the Sam Darnold fourth quarter comeback thing. I'm going to tell you when his first fourth quarter comeback is going to happen. The first one since 2019. It will happen at Los Angeles next Thursday. The Vikings and Sam Darnold specifically will be credited with his first fourth quarter comeback on national television, Amazon Prime. Al Michaels getting really excited, I'm sure, at the end of that game.
And Darnold's done it. He's done it. He's completed the comeback. Kirk Kirk, what do you think?
Kirk's thumbing through his Ohio
I got to
State.
get on my private plane to fly to Tuscaloosa, Al. I got to go.
Oh, man. So
Write this down.
it's going to happen. It's going to happen here in the next 10 days or 8 days or so. All right, Brendan, your third and final prediction.
All right. This kind of piggybacks off of something you guys were just talking about there, about getting off to a hot start. My biggest concern would be if it's a close game or we're playing from behind, that Detroit is just going to run, and they've got the O-line to just bully our guys and wear them down. The interior defensive line has been a soft spot. Same for the interior offensive line as well. They made a strong push to sign Wilkins this offseason, and I personally believe that they wanted either Byron Murphy or Dallas Turner with their second first rounder, but as soon as one went off the board, they rushed up to get the other. So write this down. Minnesota will use their first pick in 2025 to acquire either an interior offensive lineman or interior defensive lineman. And that could be whether via trade or in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love it, man. Love leaving yourself an open opportunity there to get that one correct. Great job on your Write That Down debut here, Brendan. Since you've got this life-changing platform, is there anyone you'd like to thank that helped you get here?
Yeah. So first off, I'd want to thank my bride, who, despite being a Packers fan, does still love and support me anyways. And the second person I'd like to thank is give a shout out to my good friend Trent, who, despite being a lifelong Lions fan, provides some good-natured ribbing and is a great person to talk to about the NFC North.
Has Trent gotten just awfully haughty here in the last couple of years for the first time in his life?
He has not, but he's like we've always kind of gone back and forth in a good-natured way. I did ask if he wanted to watch the game together on Sunday, and he said absolutely not. The last several times that we have, the Lions have lost, so you stay. You watch it by yourself.
I think you should be creeping around the windows just to make sure that the trend stays alive. Well, great work, Brendan. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you taking time from work. We'll do it again sometime.
Sounds great.
All right, there he is, guest listener predictor, Brendan. Judd, what's that hat you got on there? Park Tavern. Looks like the official sports bar of the Sports Dad, St. Louis Park.
Exactly right. And but by the way, with Halloween approaching, Park Tavern, very spooky at Park Tavern, at least on Saturday, October 26th from 1 to 3 p.m. When they're going to have an event, free candy for kids, all-day specials for the adults on select taps and cocktails, and then 9 to close on October 26th, Cosmic Bowling, 21 and over event. 4 bowlers is the lane minimum, $30 per person, includes a 16-inch pizza, 3 toppings for the lane. But that's not all. We also have a costume contest at Park Tavern. Best female costume, $150. Best male costume, $150. Best.
I thought you were gonna say best male costume, a gift card for $25.
Nope, $150. But the best couples costume, Declan, Phil, you might want to take note, $300. Bring the bride.
We did just get our Halloween costumes.
You could win $300. I think you could win it too. They do strongly encourage that you make reservations if you're going to go. 952-929-6819. Again, Saturday, October 26th at Park Tavern, located Highway 7 and Louisiana Avenue South right here in St. Louis Park. Parktavern.net for all the details.
Scooby-Doo, and we're making Maya be part of it. That's
adorable. We were supposed to be Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
We were going to be Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson, but my wife, we have a Halloween party next Friday or Saturday, and she has to go on another business trip to New York. So I don't want to just show up as Tommy Lee. I could obviously still do that.
Kind of weird.
Be kind of weird. So I'm kind of scrambling here, and I'm not a big costume guy.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not. So I'm kind of scrambling here to figure out what I want to do.
I think listeners, if you have ideas for a solo costume for Declan, drop them in the Purple Daily YouTube comment section.
With the mustache too, and without the mustache. I just keep that in mind.
Because if they lose,
I can't be Ron Burgundy without the mustache.
Yeah, but see, if they lose, I might keep it though, just for the party, because the Burgundy would be great. That's all I gotta say. Like that mustache. I feel like you need to use the stash for the costume party.
I would love to keep it. She wants it. She almost ripped it off my face yesterday.
Well, that's not nice. That would hurt.
It's awfully
but she's
violent.
going on a trip. She's going on a trip. You tell her, I got to keep that. I got to keep it.
Yeah. By the way, KW Outdoor Solutions can't help you with your costume ideas, but they can help you with holiday lighting. That's where they come in. They're the one-stop shop for outdoor holiday lighting. They offer design, installation, maintenance, takedown, storage, all the things that just sound like a pain in the keister. They will handle for you. Roof lines, trees, shrubs, they'll do everything. You can choose from a variety of colors and patterns. You can either do a classic single-colored look or go full Clark Griswold and light up the entire neighborhood. KWOutdoorSolutions.com, serving the Twin Cities Metro. KWOutdoorsolutions.com. Yeah, I think the mustache for costume purposes, it's a clear runway for you until November. That's what I think.
Write this down.
She leave it. Not your fault.
It's her decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Judd, your third and final prediction here.
All right, third and final. Declan was right. I do have a prediction about a coach firing in the National Football League, and it's very particular, and it's a guy that I think probably deserves to be fired on the plane coming home from London on Sunday if the Jaguars lose, especially to the Patriots. I mean, my God, the Patriots. Ugh. Anyway, Doug Peterson will be fired by the Jaguars before the end of November. So he's going to get fired because they might, I mean, the Patriots are pretty pathetic themselves. So there's no guarantee that the Jags are going to lose that game. But I think at some point in time, like that team is as checked out. That team looks like the 2010 Vikings eventually did with Childress. Like just as far as we're done, season's done, we're not playing for you. And I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but I think by the end of November at the latest, he is no longer coaching.
Well, Trevor Lawrence also, like before the ankle injury last year, they were 8-3. He was mostly playing at like a top 10, top 12 level.
Yep.
And I think they have 2 wins or something since then. It's completely gone off the rails for them.
He tried to throw a deep pass on Sunday against the Bears. I don't know what he was doing. It looked like he was going to slingshot it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird vibes in Jacksonville.
Write this down.
All right, Dex.
All right, write this down. Going to make a little bit of a middle 8 prediction. I want to see the Vikings score in the middle 8, but I do have a little bit of room on the back end of this prediction.
You and KO love the middle 8, Declan.
So
write this down. The Vikings will record points in the final 4 minutes of the first half or record points on their first offensive possession in the second half.
Well, that's not necessarily middle 8.
It's not middle 8. I said I have middle 8 with a trap door. It's not completely middle 8. If the Lions get the ball,
you teased the middle 8 at first.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the middle 8.
I feel like you were you let us on.
Yeah, I mean, is it middle 8 or is it not middle 8?
KO and you, and now I take it back.
Anyway, the Vikings will record points in the final 4 minutes of the first half or record points on their first offensive possession in the second half.
Sounds like middle 8-ish to me.
Middle 8-ish.
Doesn't sound like a hard middle 8.
Impatient Declan's here.
Yeah.
He has no time for this.
This is the prediction.
He's already upset about the stash thing, and I you know what?
I'm gonna make a middle 8 prediction too. Okay, the Vikings are gonna score points somewhere within 10 minutes of the middle 8 on either side in this game. Can I go with that one? No. Okay.
Just tell her you're keeping the stash through the party. That's all you gotta do.
It's got to come off. It was a bet. I'm a man of my word.
Write this down.
Okay, write this down. I am pessimistic about Aaron Jones' availability against Detroit, which is part of the reason why I'm skeptical about, I don't think the Vikings are going 17-0. I put the 12-5 prediction video out on social media yesterday. People are hammering me because they're clearly going 15-2 and you're being pessimistic. Aaron Jones is, I would say, the heartbeat of this offense in a lot of ways. Like, he has been one of the best running backs in the NFL. He could do everything. And I think he's going to be out this weekend. So I'm just, write this down. Cam Akers will catch a pass before Aaron Jones does for the Vikings.
Okay.
That's my prediction. Cam Akers will catch a pass before Aaron Jones does. Write it down.
Write this down.
And before we get to quarterback cesspool challenge, just to kind of, because the Vikings did trade for Cam Akers yesterday. And it's the second time they've traded for him because they traded for him like a year ago, right?
They did with the Rams.
And that's, I just, not to be fear-mongerer here, but it doesn't look like Hawkinson's going to play. And he hasn't all year, 5-0 without him. But, you're going against a high-octane team over there. No Aaron Jones. Does Aaron Jones being out not give anyone any pause? Or am I the only one that says, ooh, that's a big deal if he's not going to play in this game?
I think it's a big deal. I think it's a huge deal.
It definitely is. It definitely is. But I mean, that doesn't take away from the fact that they're playing at home and that the defense is that's going to be, to me, the sexiest part of this game is actually the Lions offense against the Vikings D. But yes, it's definitely a factor. There's no question. And I think they got Akers partially because Jones is hurt now, but more importantly, this is the thing with the Aaron Jones experience includes this. So I don't know that they think he's going to be out for an extended time. I just have no clue about that. But I think what we got was a reminder that this is part and parcel of what you get, right?
Yeah, I don't think they make that trade yesterday if he's playing on Sunday. Now, maybe they make that trade for depth purposes at some point before the deadline. Because that's the weird thing about yesterday is these teams acted like yesterday was the trade deadline. But it's not till the first week in November. Isn't it November 3rd or something?
Election day, isn't it?
The 5th, yeah.
The 5th.
It's the most important day in this country.
Yes, the day where
teams
the country is divided.
Yes. Where fan bases are fraught with peril of the division of what has happened in this country to my team.
Of who will acquire Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. Yeah. I just think I think people are like, oh, Aaron Jones is banged up, whatever.
No, that's
Vikings steamroll.
It's a big deal.
Now, the Lions are without Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
And that's a huge deal on their end, too.
Yep. I told you.
Maybe it's just kind of eye for an eye. And
I told you guys after picking it against the Vikings at home against San Fran in week 2, I'm inclined not to pick against them again until they just lose. Because there's been a lot that's gone right. They've played well. It's just, it feels like, and I am not assuring playoff success here because we've seen that fall short before, but we've seen regular seasons like this before. And I hesitate to pick against you until I see a big gaping problem. But this is definitely yes. And Akers does not make up for Jones being out, but it does provide some depth. And there is definitely concern, probably justified now, about how much Ty Chandler can do. Right?
Yeah. We, on last week's State of the Offense, we kind of went through some of the differences between him and Aaron Jones. And I'll just throw them out there again if anyone missed that episode. So Aaron Jones, out of 59 PFF graded running backs, the 4th highest graded running back in the NFL. Ty Chandler, 54th out of 59. Yards after contact per attempt. Aaron Jones, very good at this. Top 10, 10th. Ty Chandler, dead last, 59th out of 59 in yards after contact per attempt. In terms of just yards per attempt, period, Jones, 15th among 59. Ty Chandler, 45th among 59. And then, I know Jones has more carries, but he has 16 missed tackles forced. Ty Chandler only has 2 missed tackles forced. No, I think Ty Chandler's better than this. I don't think the way that he is graded and the way that he has maybe played in the first month and a half, I don't think he's the 54th ranked running back in the NFL. He's more explosive than that.
Sure.
We've seen chunk plays from him.
Sure.
So maybe given opportunity, maybe he rises up and plays like a top half of the league running back here, but there's a huge gap between Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler in the first month and a half of the season.
And Chandler's defense too, I don't think he's so Jones is small, but he's built like he is a strong dude. I feel like Chandler's not going to break a ton of tackles, but he will beat you with speed before Jones does. So I think they're very different. But the other thing I'm concerned about, and the bye sort of masked it because it helps us forget about it, is, I am a little bit concerned about how Darnold looked against the Jets. And yes, that's a good defense. It's legit. That's great. But Detroit's a legit team too. And so it's not like you're going to get bad defenses in this league consistently. So the way that Darnold played in that game does concern me a bit.
Yeah, it's just another factor. Just trying to.
But we'll see. We'll see. I'm still going to pick them. I'm still going to pick them until they lose.
What I find funny, though, is like I was the most pessimistic in our exercise yesterday because you guys had them with 13 and Judd had 13. Dex, I think you had 14 wins. I'm still coming in saying this is a 12-5 team. I know they starting 5-0, 12-5 would feel like a disappointment. But it kind of feels like most of the people clowning that on social media had the Vikings winning like 7 to 9 games before the season. If they were to finish with 12 wins, that's still a huge success. They're still absolutely probably, I mean, they might still win the division at 12 wins. I think 13 get to the division for sure. So I'm just saying, like, there might be some speed bumps on the horizon here. And I just have a feeling that Sunday might be one.
To contradict myself too, I don't know that you win both. I don't know that you can win. And again, this is an old school like NBA schedule loss. I don't know you can win both of these games.
These next two? Well, hell, if you win, I mean, if you roll back to back here and now you're 7-0, having beat Lions. I mean, the Rams are still very well coached. Matthew Stafford.
I just don't know how you come back with one practice and still probably beat up as hell. Go on the road, travel to the West Coast, and the Rams. Look, I know they're not that good, but they're not a dumpster fire. You know, it's not like you're going to play the 2024 Jaguars right now.
No, they're well coached. They have a rock solid quarterback. They might be getting a weapon back in Cooper Kupp. So yeah, the next week is going to be pretty wild here.
Although Kupp's name, let's just say it's being bandied about out there in the trade world. Yeah. I mean, could he be traded by Thursday? Who do the Rams play this weekend? I don't think so. I think he's more of a. But I mean, it feels like teams are now doing the baseball thing, right? Trade deadline wise, they're starting to say they're trying to get the guys that they want early so they don't get walked up to the actual deadline day.
And also, by the way, the Rams play the Raiders, dumpster fire. There's a good chance they just win that game and they feel like they're still in it. But yeah, in the NFL, if you let 2 weeks go by, that's a huge chunk of your schedule. Like the Jets couldn't wait 2 more weeks to go get Devontae Adams. If they get beat by the Steelers, their season's over. Their season might be over now at 2-4. So, boys, it's time for a quarterback cesspool challenge here, presented in part by Prize Picks. All right, I gotta be honest here. I made a mistake last night on Prize Picks. I bought into the Yankees too much. I know they won the game, but
what happened?
I thought Juan Soto was going to go more than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I thought Garrett Cole was going to get more than 5 strikeouts.
And not a great game for Garrett Cole, from what I heard.
I felt dirty just sniffing around the Yankees. It taught me a lesson. Stay away from the Yankees. Stick with Vikings and other fun teams. But if you open up the Prize Picks app, you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Select between 2 and 6 players. Pick more or less on their projected stats and place your entry. For instance, we're looking at NBA games firing up here. Let's see. Rudy Gobert against the Lakers in less than a week, 13.5 points. I might take more on that. Anthony Edwards, 27.5. Definitely taking more on that. Can lock those in. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PURPLEDAILY to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code PURPLEDAILY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. Prize Picks, run your game. Also, thanks to Nicolay Law for supporting Purple Daily, helping us make this a 7-day-a-week, year-round show. They are the exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily, and they know that when you or a loved one gets injured, ordinary life can come to a stop. Things can get complicated. That's where Russell Nicolay and his great team come in to help make sure you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay, nicolaylaw.com or 1-855-NICOLAY. It's time for the Quarterback Cesspool Challenge, a weekly celebration of bad quarterback play in the NFL, where each member of the show picks a quarterback that we think is going to play terribly this upcoming week. So it's kind of like a survivor pool. Once we use a quarterback, you can't use that quarterback again, and we all must draft different quarterbacks each week. The scoring is very simple. It's just the lowest QBR on a 0 to 100 scale is the weekly winner. So we have weekly winners, and then we have the season-long competition. And last week was really interesting.
Cool.
Declan picks up his second win of the season by identifying Drake May. 31.3 QBR for old Drake May.
Nice.
Edging out my pick of Deshaun Watson, 34.8 QBR. Judd, you took Aaron Rodgers, 57.4 QBR. Yeah. Not bad. I mean, you're locking in. Like, he's a pretty good quarterback, doesn't usually post bad QBRs.
Yep.
So it's not a train wreck week for you. Dak Prescott was the worst quarterback in week 6, 11.5.
Oh, my God.
Man. Just brutal. So on the season, Judd has 3 wins. Declan has 2. I only have 1, but I'm leading the overall competition with a 40.9 average QBR. Judd 45.7, and Declan at 52.4 average QBR.
All right.
So the draft order this week, reverse order of last week's standings. Judd gets the first pick, I get the second pick, and Dex gets the third pick.
All right, with the first pick in this week's quarterback cesspool challenge, I am going to kindly ask the league to not hold the Mayo because I want Will Levis against the Bills, a season-long 27.3 QBR, consistently terrible. I'm not quite so sure he's not going to just be benched at some point in time. Like, he's just not good. Back a couple of drafts ago when we were all calling for he fell to the Vikings, and we're all like, "Oh, you got to take him, you got to take him." And I guess KO said, "No, we ain't taking this guy. I don't even like him." Will Levis is my number 1 pick this week.
Yeah, he was definitely number 1 on my big board too.
Yeah,
I feel like he was.
Week.
There's a few interesting options here.
I've got some good ones here. Yeah, but since I was first.
All right. There's like 2 that I have here. It's kind of coin flippy. It's tough to pass up Drake May in London. Drake May, I know it's the Jaguars, but the Jaguars might also be like desperately playing for their season in some ways. I don't know, maybe not.
Or they're trying to get their coach fired, but that's beside the point. You take him.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like how much do they want to play for the honor of Doug Peterson. But you get a rookie quarterback on foreign soil against a potentially desperate team. Weird things happen in these London games. So I will take Drake May against the Jaguars in London.
Do we know who's calling this game? It's not Eisen. He made it clear that he and Kurt Warner are going to call the game in Germany in a few weeks.
Let's see.
Is it Chris Rose? Didn't he call a London game a couple years ago with NFL Network?
I think he did. I actually like Chris Rose a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be Chris Rose, Joe Thomas, and sideline reporter Steve Weish.
Okay.
On the call.
Okay, good. Rich is great in studio, and his radio show is fantastic. I'm not a huge fan play-by-play, which is a very different skill set.
It's kind of funny. They just hang these broadcasters out to dry for London. Just like, Rich, why don't you go over there and do some shows from London and try to call a football game?
Well, I'm sure they want to do it, but like it's just a different skill set.
Yeah, it's hard too. I mean, it's
a
bunch of random, and it's harder now too because the numbers aren't like the numbers were in bins 10 years ago. Where like if a linebacker comes in, it's a number in the 50s.
Yeah,
you're searching up and down to try and find when you had like your cheat sheet. All the players are either in alphabetical or numerical order, and it was just easier to look like, the 50s. Okay. So, I don't know. I'm just defending Chris Rose in advance for doing a potentially crappy job.
I like Chris Rose a lot, but it's just a tough job.
Okay, Dex.
All right, I'm going to take a more established guy. I've burned some here, and I kind of like to keep the bad QBs in the chamber for when I want them later in the season.
I like what you're doing.
So I'm actually going to take Geno Smith this week, who has had a couple clunkers the last few. They are playing the Falcons, but I'm going to take Geno Smith this week in the quarterback cesspool challenge.
All right. Old Geno Smith. No love for Spencer Rattler against that Broncos defense.
He was next on my list, but I get Dex's plan here.
Yeah.
And I did it this past week, and I sort of like it. Like you're not gonna, because you can't burn through them all or by late in the season. Now, the one thing I will say is this. I don't know how long Rattler's going to play, so you could have burned him because I don't know in 2 weeks he's still there.
Yeah.
There's some guys that are definitely. I mean, if Brian Callahan doesn't bench Levis at some point here, what are we doing?
It's funny. It's week 7, and you were the first one to take Will Levis all season on the quarterback cesspool challenge. I think we're going to go on a little Will Levis run here, as long as he's still playing the next couple weeks.
The one time I took Bo Nix is his one good game in his life, and he had like an 85 QBR, and it ballooned my number.
In week 1, he screwed me. I took him right off the bat, and I didn't win.
Yeah, but he had a 31.3 QBR the week that you took him. Declan had locked Bo Nix in at 80.8, and it's the reason why Declan's in last place for the season standings. Oh man! All right, there you go. Your quarterback cesspool challenge here.
Everybody, hold your water.
So we've got tomorrow. We've got Thursday. And then we'll have Judd's practice notes, which I think we're just going to lead with some trade speculation. And then whatever else was said, whatever else you gathered.
Yeah, I mean, I've got all these pages all broken down. I think I was doing it for 3 hours last night trying to find fits because, there's a lot of names. But in my opinion, the Vikings don't have a ton of positions that.
Honey, what are you doing in there?
For.
Nothing. I'm looking.
She doesn't ask. She's
You've been in there for 3 hours.
Your husband. She's watching, NBC Dateline. Keith Marshall, how to kill your husband.
You know what's suspicious when your wife is taking handwritten notes, watching Dateline murder mysteries.
Yeah, that's a little alarming.
No one else does handwritten notes now. She's typing them into her phone. She's typing them into her phone. Come on, I'm the only person left to take.
But she's still taking notes during Dateline, however she's doing it. Dateline.
Well, if I end up dead, you'll know why.
Yeah. Just as long as we know where the Judd handwritten football notes are, we'll be able to survive your death.
Hey Dawn, can you send those over? Courier them. I'd like the handwritten notes. We were supposed to do a trade show.
Oh man! All right, daily Vikings entertainment here. Purple Daily. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before Judd dies.